All right, welcome, Ghenwa Habbal. Ghenwa is the Forbes Middle East and Africa Regional Talent Management Lead. And Ghenwa works a lot in bringing in talent, which is interesting because I want to know, how do you bring in the right talent? What kind of mindset do you as Ghenwa have to bring in the right talent?
Hi, Omnia. Good morning or good afternoon. Maybe also good evening. Thank you for your question. It's an interesting one because, sometimes we as hiring managers and leaders, we think of, what is somehow the right fit for us as a team, as an organization, and then who is the right person for us. I think the rules of the game might change every now and then, but when it comes to me personally, I always think of attitude. Attitude for me comes first. If someone has, the right attitude, and what I mean by the right attitude is someone who has empathy, someone who is actually a good listener, someone who's actually curious. Because I don't want to have people on board just to follow the path or just go in the flow of the current organization that I am hiring for or the team that I am hiring for. I want someone who can have the ability actually to adapt. However, I want them always to be thinking and asking questions that will actually shake some kind of status quo. Because if we are not shaken and stirred, but not deterred as a division, right? I don't think we can healthy face any future obstacles face any obstacles in the future, right? So you get the right talent to shake the status quo and get you ready to thrive in a VUCA world or to change the dynamics. So disruption here is key. I want people who cause disruption. I want people who can actually really drive change.
So
So
that
that
brings
is me.
me Yeah, that brings me to the other question is when you were speaking, I'm thinking, what do you think about the tests that companies then run in order to understand the personality of the prospective employee? Do you do that? And what is your overall take on it?
See, I like these tests, right? So first of all, it doesn't help me first, as a company or a hiring manager. I think it also helps the individual. So understand as the individual understands themselves, right? It also opens up our eyes as candidates, for example. So I'm going to put myself in the place of the candidate and I'm going to reflect. So it's going to open my eyes on things I personally, as a candidate, then that I haven't known. So, like the questions, I mean, as I think I go through these questions, it's an opportunity for me to reflect and then see, what does this question mean? How does it impact me? How does it, help me evolve or grow in a different direction where, I'm gonna evolve as a candidate. That's number one. Number two, for organizations and teams, I think it's also key. Why? Because you really need to understand who is that persona that is going to join you. It is not a determinator or an affirmative tool to decide or to help you decide on a decision, because that alone is not enough. You need the human before you need that assessment. The way I think is true for me and it's true for an organization. So both come handy, but the most important is the human themselves before these assessments.
Right. I read your profile a while back, and in it, you have two mindset, right? The startup mindset and the consultant mindset.
Yes.
How do you bring both together to take things forward when it comes to your prospective employees?
Mm. For my employees specifically,
Hmm.
right? Okay, so I think both are key skills. Why do I think so? Let me start by identifying the why or explaining the why. As we operate in a very turbulent, ambiguous, and complex world, Let's put it this way. So we operate daily, hourly, by the second, okay, in a VUCA environment. And VUCA, as everybody might know, it's volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous, right? So, in order for us to really not only survive, but also to thrive, we as professionals, we need that startup mindset because the environment, that external environment, at some point forces you, whether we like it or not, as a human professionals, right, to really look into what is it that we're doing in the business today, and what is it that we need to change so we can be competitive enough in the market and find suitable approaches to generations that we serve, or to the customers that we also provide products to, right? Whether internal in-house as employees, or external. So I think a startup mindset here is very important because it is very dynamic. A startup mindset, if I have to explain it in few words, it's your ability to rethink and rethink and be on top of your feet as you are operating on a daily level. It's exhausting. I'm not saying this is, creme de la creme and easy. No, I know it's exhausting, but it's important to be equipped with it, because if we are not adopting that mindset and just going with whatever we have handy, sooner or later we're going to lag. We're going to lag from candidate experience, from customer experience. We're going to lose in the end, right? So that is the concept of startup mindset to me. And of course, as a consultant, at the back end also of my mind, I always keep myself up. I mean, I would like actually to keep also myself up to, to date with whatever is happening in the market. So I read a lot, I connect with my network, I ask questions, I observe, right? So that skill of me being malleable and asking and actually exploring helps equip my consultant mindset, and I build it based on, or sorry, help equips my consultant mindset, because it forms and reshapes how I think, right? And then when my brain is framed with the latest and greatest approaches, then I can actually tailor products in-house or external to my people in the business. So I can also create, let's say, a nice onboarding experience for my employees, or a nice candidate experience for whoever I am trying to hire in a future position. I
Right.
hope
And
this
what
helps.
it does, which brings me to this question. What do you think is the challenge to this kind of approach?
It has to be constantly changing and being tweaked, right? And so it's hectic. I mean, with the tech, I mean, technology is there to help, right? But today technology is new. After a minute, it's not going to be new. So what is it that I need to adopt so I can actually be ahead of the game or ahead of the curve? So, but then you have also asked yourself, like, am I innovating with purpose in here, or does the tool serve me well for the near, now, and the future? Or how does this work? So you always have to keep yourself asking critical questions and having, a design thinking methodology. I think it's important.
Right. Which brings me also, I love how your endless answers bring me to the next question, which brings me, what is your advice in terms of to other HR managers on how to create design thinking approach?
So design thinking, if I have to start with, it's, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and please no, hopefully those who are gonna watch don't quote me on this, but I think it came from Stanford. So it is a methodology, right, that will help each and every individual, whether they are in HR, or outside the HR arena, or outside or in diverse domains and industries. It's a methodology that literally you can use on a personal level, and on a business level, because it's a 5 or 6 stage process. It starts with empathy, and anything that you need to design or put into action, you really need to test if it is empathetic. or sorry, it provides empathy, or surrounded or created and centered around empathy, so people can actually use it and benefit from it, and then take it forward and advance it.
Mhm.
So if I have to say, so design thinking, it is a way or a lifestyle, if I have to think so. So everything that you can do, from your HR processes, your HR systems, your programs, your employee engagement programs, could fall into the umbrella or could be based, right, on the design thinking methodology that starts with empathy and then ends with, implement testing and implementation. And the beauty of it is that you can go through all the levels of thinking back and forth at any time in your design process of any program.
Amazing. You know, I want to end by asking you, what are the five top strategies you would recommend HR managers to do to follow your path in terms of bringing different mindsets to choosing the right?
First of all, I don't want them to follow my path. I want them to be ahead of that path so I can also learn. That's number one. Number two, always, I believe, I mean, that's my own mantra and reminder to myself. Believe in the power in you as a professional in the business world and the change actually that you can make in the business. I think, we are all influencers in here, whether we like it or not, whether we like the title or not. We influence people, right, in the business. And as we stand as HR professionals, the ounce is on us actually to really find an equilibrium between the human or the people and the business. So be fair, be just, and make sure that when you want to put a system or a process across, it is centered around both business and people.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Ghenwa, for your time. It's my pleasure speaking to you.
Same here, Omnia. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.